The biggest battle we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will share concepts, universal laws, and interviewing individuals who have done just that, who have gone through the dark times and through those moments allowed their light to shine bright. I'm your host, DrVic Manzo, and I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and taking this journey with me as we discover different avenues to break through those limits, expand your reality, and evolve into the person you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, this is another episode on the Mindful Experiment. This is your host, Dr. Vic. As we've been, lately I've been, if you follow me on Instagram at Dr. Vic Manzo or Facebook at Dr. Vic Manzo, you'd be noticing that in the last probably week and a half, I've been posting a lot on the Matrix and things from the Matrix, statements or quotes from like Morpheus and the red pill versus the blue pill. What's the red pill? What's the blue pill? How do you get to the red pill? How is the red pill the opening of truth and understanding the truth behind all things, where the blue pill is more of living that life of with the blinders on, believing whatever it is that, the stories that are being told to you, and that there's an agenda of kind of telling you what you should be thinking, what you should be saying, what you should be focusing on, and not really letting you dictate your life and how you want to be moving forward. And so in this episode, I just want to share a little bit of the journey of the red pill and understanding how to get into that part of life and how there's freedom in there and how what you're seeking in life truly is the red pill. And for me, this was a very interesting journey. I will, to be very transparent, and tell you this is not an easy journey for anybody to go through this process. Some people call it a spiritual awakening. Some people call it just being wakened up from a deep sleep and things along that nature. I've always said it's like a light switch turned on in me, and all of a sudden here I am. And my journey started when I was 19. And in my book, Rediscover Your Greatness, I talk a little bit about that journey and what I went through. But it was all at 18 years old. I'm a kid pumped with a ton of hormones, right? And I had all this emotional stuff that I just had to get through. And I wanted to escape my reality because I was so tired of people telling me how things should be or how things were, or how things this and that. And I had many, friends, family, and I was a people pleaser. So I didn't want to hear a lot of opinions because I didn't know how to shut them off. And so it would just stress me out. And so I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. And so I went to Arizona State for a year and a half, and I had a best time of my life. But at the same token, this was the beginning of a pill. I took the red pill when I was there. And what the red pill was is I started to, I was raised Italian Roman Catholic. And the thing is about that is I had a lot of questions at 18, 19 that weren't being answered. And I was told that I couldn't ask questions because if I did, I was challenging, and that's not, it's a sin, it's the devil coming into your mind and all these different things. And I was very genuinely just asking for deeper truths, and I wasn't getting them. And I got to a point where I just got so frustrated. I'm like, enough's enough. I'm going to start looking at other religions. And I did. And I didn't do it because I wanted to convert to another religion. I did it because I want to understand other religions, and I want to understand different things and different levels. And so that was just my journey. And I studied, things. I studied Buddhism. I studied Hinduism. I studied a little bit of Jewish culture and some other things. I just dabbled into other religions just to understand the concept of it and so much more. And that was an awakening experience. Very frustrating because a lot of questions weren't getting answered immediately, but there was a lot of ahas that were coming through because I saw a lot of correlation. And then my second time I took the red pill was 23. And this was the big one. This is where I started to realize that everything that I've been told isn't true, and that nothing in life appears what it seems to be, and that no matter what you're being told and what's being shared to you, that there's no real truth behind it. That there's no it's never what it seems to be, and there's something always deeper. And this was a process that took many years for me to really come around. And I think I will always in my life be going through this, because it's something that it's more of a fascinating process, but it brought up a lot of ups and downs. And there was so many ups and so many downs that it was truly a huge journey, but it was a healing journey. And I've made mistakes along the way. There's things that I look back at and I'm just like, man, I can't believe, some of the things I've done or some of the things I've said or something, but there was a process of what I was going through. And I believe that's what we all go through. And if we really hone in and just, appreciate the journey and, and go through that. But this is the process where I started to looking at how the world is really a big game. And I started to see things at such a deep level. I saw the programming behind everything. I started to see how we're manipulated in so many different ways, and how every group has its own manipulation, its own political agenda, its own narratives that want you to believe. And I started to just look at this as a huge game. And life is really just a big game. And there's all different teams and different arenas and different aspects. And it's all created by design too, because that's creating a divide when you have different teams rather than being one team, the human race. And it's one of the things that I just started to go down this path, and it was fascinating. I'd done a lot of things because I wanted to go deeper in the truth, because once you go down that rabbit hole, you want to continue to go down, and you want to continue to go deep as much as you can. You want to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's sometimes it was, the information I got was extremely scary, and I just couldn't understand. But I just had to learn to take it easy, breathe, and I would get answers eventually. And I did. And it was very fascinating. And so it's one of the things where the red pill is understanding and waking up. And I really believe breaking the chains from the prison of what you created in your mind, but more importantly, the manipulation that happens in the world. I joke with my wife a lot and tell her, with certain things, I'm like, I can't be controlled. And what I mean is that I will always, always, always stand for my truth, and I'll always share what I feel like I need to share. And sometimes it may not come out right. I may not say it correctly. I may offend somebody. Know that that's not my intention. I never had an intention. I never want to create, from a spiritual side, I never want to create a lower vibrational experience for anybody, unless that lower vibrational experience must happen for them to get to the higher level where they want to go. And in my life, it's one of those things where I always want to uplift and help people. It's one of my missions and passions in life, is to really uplift and have people realize and understand the power, the light, the consciousness of who they really are, and to expand that in their own life so they can expand that to the world, because that's what the world needs. That's why you're here. You're here for that reason, and for your own reasons too. That's why it's always a win-win-win situation. And so that, going down the journey though, and understanding and seeing the truth is like thinking you thought something was the way it was all your life. And then all of us find out it's false. All of a sudden found out that it was never true. And you were, I don't want to say manipulated, but it's just not true. How would you feel when you find something out like that? You would feel hurt. You feel a little low. You'll maybe get a little depressed. And for me, it was like, seeing this in my life, and I had many upsets, and I had many failures, and I've had many of those things. I've had dark nights, and it was through those moments though that I had to dig deeper and find truth. I'll never forget it. And I shared this in my book, Rediscover Your Greatness, my experience with psychedelics when I did ayahuasca for a weekend. I've only did it one weekend. It was three rituals. And I'll never forget the darkness it put me in. I talk about it from time to time, and I've been interviewed and I've talked about it. Had interviewed others, and we've talked a little bit about it here and there. But it really brought out the darkness that I had within, the biggest fear I've ever had in my whole life, which was death. From a spiritual side, I understand what happens on the other side. I've talked to mediums. I've read books. I studied so many near-death experiences. But during the time of this, I understood the other side, but my ego had me controlled to a certain degree of what death really is. I was still programmed from my Catholic roots. And I had to go into such a state of fear that I thought my soul would end. I was in a bad place. I was reading a book, and it said something about the end of your experience, your existence. And I was like, what do you mean I end my existence? That shouldn't happen. I misread something. But it's all for purpose and design. And what that ended up happening, though, is I went on a 2.5, almost 3 year journey studying near death experiences, studying all the spiritual books I can get my hands on, reading, listening, understanding, meditating deeper, doing all the work I can to really grasp and understand my purpose and my being of here, my temporary time here, I return back to home, and all those things. And I was very happy that I went through that experience. I was very happy that I had that experience. But I will tell you, if my wife was on here, she will tell you that it was not a pretty experience. I was very scared a lot of the times because it was something that rattled me and opened up a Pandora's box. But it was through that journey that gave me the confidence. It was through that journey where I can talk about now, because I've just done so much research on this, to where I understand what the other side is. I understand the journey to it. I understand. I mean, I've read, I can't tell you how many articles, I can't tell you how many blogs, I can't tell you how many, and it's not that because I read it, because I'm going to get into this part right now in just a second, but intellectually, I needed to get something that my ego can hold on to, something. And there was times I grasp it, then I lose it. I grasp it, then I lose it. I grasp it, then I lose it. But my ego, I needed to feed it a little bit. But it was through my meditations and so forth that was giving me my truth. And so the blue pill, if I can kind of tell you what that looks like, is, again, like I said, living life, being programmed, and all that stuff. But the other thing about it is that the blue pill is also leading by the mind. Because the mind can be fooled and tricked in so many ways. And when you lead your life by the mind, and that's looking at things intellectually, that's like seeing what's going on in the world. Oh, this is what's happening. I'm going to go do my research. I'm going to do this. I'm going to watch the video. I'm going to make this assumption. I'm going to make this opinion, which having opinions is fine. But it's when you're leading by the mind and looking for the mind to get answers for you, you will always be stuck in a programmed world. You'll be programmed in some way, shape, or form, unless you go somewhere else. So when you look at somebody who's the greats, right? The people you follow, the people who speak on stages, not all the time. I shouldn't even say that, but potentially. But when you look at the legends in certain arenas, in certain fields, in certain, sports, speaking, business, all those individuals, they don't lead life by the mind. They don't lead life by the blue pill. They lead it by the red. Because the red pill is opening up you to a world that you thought was your false world, the matrix. You're breaking out of the matrix. And you're going to see for life for what it really is. And you're going to see the truth behind it. And then when you're there, the only way you can tap into that world is going from the inside, from intuition, from tapping within, trusting your gut feeling, and starting to work to build that up. When I first started to trust my gut feelings, I was told by many gifted spiritual people that I was gifted in healing, and that I can help heal on so many levels. Now, my ego loved to hear that, guys. Trust me, it loved that. But my understanding of that and how I'm going to do that, or my trust with my intuition and my instincts and my gut feelings, put me in a place where I was very I couldn't understand, because my ego was in control. Right? I didn't trust me. I didn't believe in me. And there's many times where I've had it where they would tell me, like, I had a friend of mine who would be like, okay, number 1 through 10, which number is it? And I would second guess myself so many times. Like, I knew the number, but then I would go with something else. And it wasn't until a point where I started playing this game so much that I started to get better. I was like 60% better. Now I was at 70% accuracy. Now I was at 80% accuracy. And then it wasn't when I was a chiropractor, I started little at a time playing with different things practicing on how I can get answers by using my intuition. And now I've gotten a point in my life, in my career, where it's purely intuition. And it's purely like I'm guided in a certain way, and it guides me. But it's amazing what comes out, and the miracles and things and the experiences that happen from there. I don't own it. It's not me. Like it's I wish I could say it's me. It's something else, But things in life, like everything that's been going on with COVID, if you follow, I have a personal Facebook page, obviously too, and everything I've been sharing since the beginning of March. I've been sharing predictions. I've been sharing things I've been reading. I've been sharing stuff that I feel that where it's going to go. I've been sharing all this stuff. I haven't been wrong yet. And I have new predictions I've been sharing and all that and so forth. And some people go, wow, Doc, you haven't been wrong. Holy cow. And I'm like, that's great, but it's not about right or wrong. It's just, it's for me, it's confidence to know that, wow, I'm in tune. Because when the moment I say something and I'm wrong, somehow my ego interfered. And so the key thing about what you want to do in your life is start to practice building back your intuition. You have this. Everybody has it. Everyone has an intuition. In my book called A Walk in the Dark, I talk a lot about intuition. I talk a lot about the concept of understanding how to connect back there and how to start really developing that relationship back with yourself. I really believe, and what I'm seeing is that the biggest movement going forth from here to break away the chains of control, the programming, right? You can't say all lives matter right now. All you can say is Black Lives Matter, right? That's a program. They're making you get into those arguments and get into those situations. And anything else, like whatever, maybe like when COVID first came out, I was called ignorant. I was told that, oh, what does a chiropractor know? He's not an What does a chiropractor know about infectious diseases? What does a chiropractor know about this? And I was called many different names. Well, one, I'm going against your programming because I'm coming from a different perspective. It's funny now that most people who are calling me names now are saying, wow, holy cow, I apologize, and it's a state of fear. I don't take any offense to that. But if you weren't sticking to the narrative, then you're looked at as an outsider. And again, that's power and control. So getting back to your intuition, you start to step away from the masses. And I really believe the biggest shift we're going to start to see in the next 10 years, this next decade, is all about reconnecting back with self. And it's going to happen from the people. And when we start to do this, we pull away from the chains of command because there is entities, elites, these individuals who are the ones of 1%, that they want control of all things. And the more control they have, the more power and money they get. And the more power and money they get, the more power and control they have. But if we can start to take that red pill and take that journey within, that's how we will start to see truth. That's how we'll start to see our own lives. And that's how we'll start to make the transformation we need to make in our lives so that we can start to create the revolution from a conscious level. And that is my prediction of what I see happening in this next decade. And I always ask people, join me on this journey. There are things I'm going to be doing to help in that process, right? One of the things I'm going to be starting, you guys are going to see this towards the end of this month of June. I'm going to have a membership site. Now, this membership site is going to be a very low fee. And what you get is, if you love my podcast, you're going to have exclusive podcasts only on there that I'm going to be sharing. And in that podcast, it is going to share, we're going to work on things. We're going to be building on things. I'll be sharing 2 podcasts a month. I'm also going to be doing a group call once a month. And I have some other things I'm going to be adding into. I'm trying to figure out how to add in some health stuff because I want to tie in both. I've had people ask me, hey, Doc, I know you're a chiropractor and you talk a lot about holistic stuff. Can you help with this? Or do you have any ideas for that? I'm trying to blend the two as much as I can so that we can really create this to be a powerful, unique group. And I can share with you all my health with my mindset and so much more. So keep a lookout for that. If you want to get on my mailing list, I have a link below where you can go ahead and click so you don't miss out on that. Also, I have a special coming out June 22nd to the 25th. Both my books, Rediscover Your Greatness and A Walk in the Dark, will be completely free for that 1 week. Now, I'm only doing this because I know there's more to come with stress. I know I'm seeing the trends of where we're going, and I know things are only going to get heated up even more. And I want to be part of that solution. I did this in my chiropractic office by offering, I still do, I offer a special that I've never discounted my care because I always believe the work I do should be valued at what I do. Because I spend so much time, so much energy, so much researching, so much continuing education, so many different things. That's why I don't discount any of my care. Same thing with my programs. I don't discount them because I take so much time to do all that work. Now, here's the thing though. Same thing here, my books, and I've only discounted them when I first started because I wanted to get it out there. But now I'm at a point where I'm seeing things and I'm like, people need this information. So Rediscover Your Greatness and A Walk in the Dark is going to be completely free on Kindle between June 22nd and June 25th. I have the links below so you to do that. Also, if you like paper copies, I am also giving a discount on both my books. Rediscover Your Greatness and A Walk in the Dark are just going to be $4.99. Basically, that's covering your shipping. So basically, you're getting the book for free. That is my shipping cost to get it out to you. And so it's only available in the United States. So if you're not in the United States but you want a copy of the book, reach out to me. There's a way I can get it to you, PDF version, and I'll definitely have a discounted price for that. So this is something that we're doing to just really, be part of the solution, right? Before the problem starts to show even more. I have a feeling with COVID and all that, there's a lot of stories I'm hearing right now, and I'm just seeing where the trends are going. And I'm like, we need to help empower people a little bit more. How do we get people to take that red pill? And this will be one of those. So any questions, anything you like, if you like the podcast, do me a huge favor, throw a comment, share what you liked about it. Even better, refer it to a friend if you like the episode and they need to hear this. As always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you as always. And until next time, keep rocking and rolling. Thank you for listening to the podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you on the journey to rediscover who you really are. To connect with us on Facebook, please visit www.facebook.com/DrVic Manzo. Check us out on Twitter. The handle is DrVic21. Follow us on Instagram, www.instagram.com/DrVic Manzo. If you were inspired by the podcast, pay it forward by sharing it with someone who you know can benefit from it. Thank you again for listening to the Mindful Experiment podcast, sharing paths to help you rediscover your infinite potential.